Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So a lot of you, uh, are home and you're kind of stuck for what to do and not have a lot of supplies. You can't get a lot of supplies. I saw in my All Things Creative group, somebody had written about that. And I am all about let's use things that we have at home. So I don't have too much here to use about, from home at the moment, but I'm going to do my best. So I'm going to use a few art supplies. Of course, I'm going to use my Mod Podge matte medium. Love this stuff. I want it to be matte. But you can, of course, use your white Elmer's, what is it called? Glue all. You can use decoupage. You can use a glue stick if you want, if you're stuck and you don't have anything else to use. I'm going to be using the Mod Podge matte. Now, I have refilled it for the 20th time. I always have to peel off the gluey parts, and I'll just keep refilling this stuff. I have a piece of brown paper bag. Now, this could be your printer paper. It could be whatever paper you have, a piece of mail that you're not, that you're going to throw away, which I have a video coming up about that. But we're going to use this today. Of course, like I said, go all out, use what you have. I'm going to try to fix my camera here because I think I hit it. And it's a little crooked. All right, deal with me, please. Okay, so first and foremost, this is just a piece of mixed media paper that I have, or watercolor paper, or here it is, watercolor Canson, 9 by 12. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to take some Mod Podge. And I'm going to leave my page white at the moment. Now, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. One of my favorite things to do is making mixed media backgrounds. You can wet this. I love wetting this. I have another video I want to do coming out. So I'm going to do a couple dry and a couple wet to show you. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you, now this is why I like to use matte, but just so we could work on top of it. But if you only have gloss, use it. Use what you have, because everything you can work around. And I'm going to give you a couple hints along the way if you have gloss. But right now, I just want to get these glued, and then I'll talk about it. I'm going to put a little bit right here and just spread it out. Now, sometimes, like I said, I will wet this. Whatever paper it is, I like to give it a squish and makes it more wrinkly, more textured. So, hey, I don't have texture paste. I don't have modeling paste. I don't have molding paste, whatever you want to call it. So, and it's even better if you do that, leave it dry, squished up, which I have a million videos on, and then put it on. But I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. Just going to give us a little texture. The more texture, like I said, and you see how I'm putting a little squishy there. So, you can add it as you go. So if I go here to put more glue, and I put this like this, and I push this, see? We're going to get a bunch of texture there. And then I just kind of push it down with my brush so it adheres, because you want it to adhere to the paper. You don't necessarily want bubbles, but it's going to give us a little texture. And that's good thing. A good thing, Martha's do a good thing. Okay, and you see? And we're getting it. Getting it. Okay, I'll turn it a little bit that way for the moment, because... And then I'll put, you could do shapes. Maybe you want to do, I don't know what shape this would be, but it's a shape. And then I'll kind of make a point. I guess triangle is what I'm trying to say. Look at me go. It's like I'm in preschool again. Okay. All right. Now, do you have paper like, let me see if I can pull a piece out here. That's thin. Come here. Okay. Maybe you have some scrapbook paper that you're not using at the moment. So you can, I mean, this is really cool. It's nothing that I would, this isn't why I bought it, but I bought it because of this, because I want to cut those little foxes out. But you can see, look how cool that is. So I will just take them. I like to tear them into smaller pieces. It, you know, they go down smoother. I can control it more. But then I will put, now remember, I'm not going to, me personally, I'm not going to have all that coming through. I was going to do this live today, but yesterday I was going to go live, and there were like 6 people just on my feed who I follow that were live, and I thought, I just don't. Not only do I not want to compete, which I know it's inevitable sometimes, but I just don't feel right doing that. All right. Okay. And then we'll do a little one right here. Maybe I'll turn it that way, just for the heck of life. Hope you guys are staying safe and sane. Okay. All right, maybe something right there. Just a little strip. All right. I do paint over it just to help those edges stick, because I don't know if that has ever happened to you, but sometimes those edges will just peep up. So sometimes you'll see me like just keep going over. Edges are okay. I mean, you know, they give texture if that's what you're looking for, but that's where I'm going to stop with that. I'm going to put my, all right, I'm thinking to myself, what did I do with it? Here it is. I knew I got a new water. I'm going to put my glue away. Now, a tip here is always wipe around so it doesn't stick and it doesn't get clumpy. I use this so much that, you know, you can hear it. All the clumps coming off. Come on, sis. Get on here. I need to get a new bottle. Okay. I'm going to put that back there. I'm going to dust off my crunchy crunches. Now, if you weren't watching, I would probably put these crunchy crunches on here, but we're not. No, I'm kidding. I would, but not today. Okay, so that would be that. Now I'm going to very quickly, I'm using my heat gun. You can use your hair dryer. I am not going for complete, if you see it lifting anywhere, just push it with your finger. Push it real good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, if you get to a point like this where you're like, now I'm more concerned with drying the whites, the paper, because I want to work on that next while the rest of it's dry. But if you're more, if you're concerned with edges coming up, put more glue. That's where I use glue sticks. That's where I use glue sticks. So I use like, what is it, Elmer's, whatever glue stick you have. If you're like, oh, I see that sticking up, just use a little glue stick under there and put it down. You don't have to get out the glue, like the big glue, the brush, the whole, you know, 9 yards. You don't have to do that. I'm going to rinse this brush off. I'm trying to make a habit in my life to not leave brushes, although that needs to soak. So come on, baby. He needs a little. I really went deep in that. This brush is so beat. Okay. All right. So there we have. So let's say next, oh, I want to add some color. Now, Folk Art has, it just came out, so I don't know if they're in the stores or not yet. These are called Pure Pigments. Delightful. I love these so much. And they come in, you know, the standard shades like phthalo green, phthalo blue, medium yellow, you know, all the yellow light, all the nice color. And they are very nice. But because I'm doing a background, I'm going to use my regular Folk Art matte, you know, and I'm going to start with just a yellow light in this, and I'm going to give it a shake and do all the things. Now there's several ways you could do this. You can, which I do sometimes, I will make this all yellow. I'll take it all over. This time I'm going to just do some areas. I don't know why I feel like I'm in such a shadow here. Now I'm not worried. I'm going over. Look at that, because yellow light is a transparent, which means I can still see what's underneath, which is one of my favorite things lately. So I'm just gonna. But if you don't have yellow light, my suggestion is pick a yellow or whatever you have and just add a little water to it to make it thinner. That's essentially what we're doing. Watch, I'll just do a little bit of water. It'll make it go further and it'll make it more transparent. Like a watercolor almost. Now, I will not dry this, and I'm just going to mush my brush for a minute. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go in with a little bit of red. What color are you? Christmas red. Why not? A little bit of red. Naphtha crimson. Let's do some naphtha crimson. Any red will do. And what's going to happen when I do a little bit of red? We won't know because it's almost empty. And I'm squeezing it. Oh my God. I use these till like I can't use them anymore. Put some here. All right. That'll be enough. And I'll start here. Ooh, she's a bright one. Now if I add some water and do it up here, you'll see it gets thinner. But if I go over some of that yellow where it's wet, it turns a nice orange. So, oh, I think I used a little bit too much of that. So what I will do is, let's take a paper bag that I have sitting here and I'm going to just paint it. Because then this becomes a painty paper when I'm done. You know, all the colors on here, I get to, and then I can glue it down on something else. Going over the brown, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit more. I'm going to put more on here. You can see, it looks like somebody bled out on it. I'm going to wet my brush and then go back in. I'm going to go over it. All the rest of the white that's showing. Okay. Now, what I like to do, put you in there. I'll put you here. I swear, I never can keep anything clean. Never. I'm a pig. All right, so, which we all know. You guys tell me all the time in the comments. Especially my older videos. All right. I'm wiping. And why am I wiping? And I'll blend up here a little bit, just to blend it. To show you, look at that, how that's orange now up there. And I'm just going to blend it. Again, any brand, any kind of paint, if you have Crayola watercolor, use it. Don't be afraid. Now, I'm going to show you. You can see that, like right here, there's still glue that's a little wet under there. It's sticking and all, but see, to me, that's texture. So don't worry about it. You can even rub it a little bit more if you want. And you can see where it's darker. It, you know, sunk in more. The paint sat there. That's all right. That's the good stuff. We're starting. Okay. So I'm going to leave that dry for a second. Now, let me tell you. Let's say you only have a Mod Podge gloss or something, a glue that's glossy or something to that effect. Take a little bit of, and I don't know if this is what they call, you know, it lasts for a long, archival. Take a little bit of baby powder. Take a little bit of baking soda. Take a little bit of baking powder. Cornstarch. Mix it in. And it's going to dull it down and give it texture. And what that's going to do, it's like a faux gesso. What that's going to do is you're going to use it as your glue, as you would. It'll still be gluey. It'll still glue down, but it won't leave that gloss on top. And use that for whatever you're doing. If you're doing an art journal page, I like to do that. No, I'm lucky I have the Mod Podge, but I've done that many, many times when I'm using magazines. And I cut out of there and they have a gloss to them. Put a little bit of baby powder. Just, I mean, you're talking a little bit. You're going to have to experiment because remember, when you're using paints and mediums and that kind of thing, you can add water, you can add glazing medium, you can add all that stuff, but you don't want to like overpower it with it, because then it'll lose its adhesion or, you know, whatever. So just start with like, you know, quarter teaspoon and a little bit, stir it a little bit more, you know what I mean, and use it, test it, whatever you do. Okay, everything's dry. So now what we're going to do, I have videos, I'll link down below and at the end of this video, how to make your own sprays with food coloring. You can use acrylic paint, you can use watercolor paint, you can use so many different things. But I will link one down below and one at the end of this video. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you'll see these little thumbnails come up on the screen, like here and here, or here and here, or somewhere. And it'll say like what they are. And one's suggested for kind of things that you like, and others will be what I put. And it'll be that one making your own sprays. But what I'm going to use is, you can use, a lot of us have dilutions, so glimmer mists, whatever. So I have an orange one. Let's hope she works. And then I have another dilutions, but it's a shimmer spray and it's in blue. So look at your background and say, well, what do I, and yes, these are not permanent. If you make your own with acrylic paints, like let's say you put, I don't know, 3 drops of acrylic paint, you know, and 3 drops of water. Sometimes I do half and half. You have to do it till it sprays, you know. What else? Food coloring stains too, so that's good, which is kind of what these are. But you shake it because on the bottom there's shimmer and there's a little ball. So I'm just going to take right now random stencils. I don't care what they are. I just picked them up. You can cut your own stencils. You can buy them inexpensively. I'm going to have some up for sale, which I will show soon. You can use, you know, this is just a circle thing. You know, there's a million things. Take a piece of paper and just cut it out. Also this, a lot of us have this. You can get this at the dollar store. This just goes in your cupboards, so glasses and that kind of thing don't slide. Use that. So we're going to just kind of move it around. Now, if you want it more, you know, kind of, oh, it like flows, but you can kind of see it, but it's the same. Let's see if this bad boy sprays. Yep. You'll just do that. Okay. Done. If you want it a little bit more brighter, or, you know, like darker rather, and I'm going to spray it in here just to show you guys. Okay. One thing I do like to do is take a piece of paper, any kind of paper, because I hate to waste. And again, you could use your brown paper that you had, which I probably would, but look what we're getting. We're getting a whole other piece of paper here. That'll be a mixed media piece that you could either use as ATC card backgrounds. You can use, you know, for whatever you want. Now, if I lay that on there, it's going to squish the color. So let's do, oh, let's see what else we have. I just have another piece of paper here. We'll do the orange on here. I just don't want to necessarily mix up that color. That's just going to pick up some of that extra. See? Now you can go back on and tap or whatever you want. But you see how you're getting a little bit and it has a nice shimmer. You also, of course, can turn it over somewhere else and lay it down and get more. Get more. Same with this. But look at that. I'm going to hold it up because I know it's hard to see with it being wet. Now this you can barely see, but it's all right. It's all going to be all right. If you don't like it, you go over it. See that? Look at that shimmer. Come on now. I'm going to talk about making that as well. But look at that. So you have these stencils, you know, like I said, this is great. The kitchen stuff that you can use. Now, if you want to make shimmer, let's say you have a little bit of Pearl X or do you have old eyeshadow? Like, what's it called? Like, you know, the silver shimmery eyeshadow pearl, in any color. You could take a little bit of that and put it in or shake it real good and you'll get a similar effect. So, all good ways. So I'm going to dry this real quick. Gorgeous. Look at that shimmer. Now, of course, do you have to have a stencil? No. You can just spray it wherever you want. I want to do white. So now I have these. And I don't want it to be normal, so we'll do it like this. We'll do it backwards like that, okay? And I'm going to take some white paint. I'm going to shake it. I'm going to pour it here. Okay. I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to use a scruffy. It's called scruffy, but they're stenciling brushes, or just use your regular brush. I'm going to go on both sides like this and just kind of tap it off there. And I'm going to go in. Now, I have white spray, right? Dilutions makes it. The reason I'm not using it in this particular sense is because I know maybe not a lot of you don't have it. But make sure you make it. Everybody has white acrylic paint or watercolor paint. Use that and put it in the water. Or close to a white. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sitting. But you see how we're doing? I want to sit flat so you can see it because it's hard to. These are thick. Thick boys. Come on, baby. Because I'm on a tablet, it makes it a little bit harder, but we'll get there. Oh, she'll pull out her white. Okay. I can't find, I have all my, maybe that's it. I want to show you how to make it yourself. So you see this, you see how I'm having a little bit of problems. If you just put the white paint on this and then turn it that way and push it down, and then you could take your, oh, I made a mess of my background. You know, take it like this if you want to spread it around. What happens is, and I don't have much paint on there, you'll get it the opposite way. But let me show you this. I see my, Sherry sent me little mini misters, which I love. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you real quick. You're going to take a little bit of water in a little spray bottle or whatever spray bottle you have. I'm going to fill it 3/4 of the way. Okay. Then I'm going to take my little scrapey scrape just to get the rest of this up because I don't want to waste it. And I'm going to put it in here. See, should have done this in the beginning, but I couldn't find it because we all know I'm a mess. Still in the midst of moving my room around and trying to figure out everything, but I like doing videos and I like painting, and then I find things and then I'm like, I don't feel like cleaning my room today or finishing it. So I just keep dipping. You can use your paintbrush. You can use a squirty thing. You can use whatever you want, but I'm just putting it in there. And of course, you test it. You see, like, oh, I want it thicker. I want it brighter. I want it more opaque. I want it less. You just do you. But I'm going to do one more and then we'll see. Okay. Must be my lucky day that I found it. All right. And this is just wicker white from Folk Art, but of course, use what you have. Get it? Because I think. All right, so you see, and then I'm going to shake it, 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 shake it. Okay. put this, I'll just leave that there. So now let's just do it flat and let's just call it a day, shall we? Because it's taking too long. Gonna get it to skirt. Look at this. Look. And of course I will, just to soak up some of that paint. You don't have to, but you can. But look. So you can see it's not as maybe opaque as I want it, but I'm not mad at it. I just want it to break up that dark. So I could put more paint in if I want. And I should have taken my paper off my pad. I will tell you that because it would have laid flat. That's a lot of paint, Kale. So now, go back with these. And although you won't get letters, you will see how it like pushes it back. That's fun stuff. It's one of my favorite things to do with mixed media is all the extra pieces that you get. And this is just printer paper, so this isn't anything phenomenal, right? And then, of course, I have to thank Angie. Angie sent me this awesome card. So thank you, Angie. I love it. It's going up in my room. Okay, so you can see how we have that and how it puts on there. I would have made it a little bit more opaque, but I'm not going to waste your time. This is more technique than anything else. So I'll dry it. You could leave it soak in the paper. That'll work. Like over here, you can see it's much more crisp because of divots in the middle here. All right. This is more transparent. Again, you put another couple scoops of the white paint in, you'll get it to be more opaque. And I like drips, so what I'm going to do is kind of show you this over here. And then we're going to drip. Because I like a drip. I'm going to drip it back this way, but look. Look how cool that looks. And you see how it pushes it back? It breaks it up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to hold it this way. Let's see if we get any drips. Mixing with that dilutions there. So you can see now on here, let me put these in the water because I'll find those tomorrow and be like, I didn't do it. You can see that we still have some wet on here. So what I like to do is I'm going to pick a corner. Let's do this corner right here because it doesn't have too much on it. And I'm going to kind of see if I can get just some I mean, look, this isn't for the faint of heart, right? Just get some around the corners where might not have gotten. And I'm not necessarily looking for clear letters, but just to get some of the paint off of here and some texture elsewhere. And you can see it's almost dry. Yeah. Okay. And I don't wash these. You certainly can. I don't. All right. So this becomes, which I should have did already, but I didn't. Look at this cool mixed media background paper. Now, I will continue on here for 1 second, and then I'm going to let you go. I have a baby wipe sitting here because I'm going to use it in this next thing, but just going to wipe my hands a little bit, but it's not coming off, so okay. All right, so I'm going to dry this one last time. So you can, at this point, and you can see, let's just show you real quick. Let's see if my ticket off yet. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love that sparkle. So this is your normal. You can go and buy a piece of paper like this. It's a mixed media background. It's delightful. Okay, so number one, at this point, you can, which is one of my favorite things to do. I love to draw a face on here. You could draw an animal. You could draw whatever you want. You can now collage on top of this if you want. Maybe you want to put some, you have like really cool magazine papers, or if you're like me, one of the things I do is I draw a lot. And I draw like faces and that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'll rip them out. I'll just use those as background collage. You can do any of that. Cut these into 2.5 by 3.5, and you have probably what, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 12 ATC backgrounds. These are great backgrounds, and you can see that like when you cut them, you get all these different kind of backgrounds to start. And that's fun, where you can sit and do that and do a bunch and have a series, send them out to people. Maybe you're in a swap, any of that kind of stuff. That's fantastic. And if you want to continue on, something that I love, you can get these at Staples. You can get these at your craft store. These are the oil pastels. These are portfolio oil pastels. They're delicious, delightful, and the whole things. This is the 24 pack. I'll link these down below if you're interested. I'll link all the stuff that I used down below. If you're interested, go check it out. Also, if you're interested, you can become a member of my group. We're going to be doing a live stream for all my members. I'm so excited. And, you know, there's different benefits and that kind of stuff. That's down below, as well as what I love to shop, my Amazon shop list. So here we go. And I'm just going to do a little section. I think I'm going to do right here, but can you see the texture under there? Let me see if I can see that texture. So I'm going to show you something that I like to do. If you have texture that kind of got lost or something to that effect, or just to add more texture, more color, you can use a stencil. You can use whatever you want. What color do I want here? Do we want to go darker or lighter? Let's do a red, like a, oh, this lipstick. This would be a great lipstick color. Just called red. And what I'm going to do is very lightly go over these wrinkles. Can you see that come to life? It's making me come to life. Look at that. Please share. Please share me around so people can find these and maybe do some mixed media backgrounds. And if you do these, please text me. Tag me, and you can text me if you want. Tag me or email me or message me on Facebook, or I'm everywhere, Instagram, and let me see what you do. Because you never know. I might say, I love it. Thanks for doing it. I'm going to send you something. Because I have packages going out, and you never know. So you can see I'm just using my finger to blend. And it's going over the paint beautifully. Okay? You can draw with these as well and do a face and do the whole thing. In this pack, it comes with white and peach and the whole thing. But look at that. Look at that texture. Look what we're doing here. So then I can go, this is how I do it because I'm goofy like that. Do we want to do more red? I wonder if we do pink. Let's see pink over here. Very lightly. Let's see if it shows up. It might not. I mean, I can see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. And I want you to be able to see it. So I think we'll wait on that. What other color? How about yellow? Let's try yellow. Otherwise, we're going back to red. We could do blue, too. This will make a little orange, but I think I kind of ruined that with the pink. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go darker, but let me show you this. See, let's see this area right here. And we're like, oh, it's a little, right here, we'll do a little dark. So I'm gonna take this oil pastel and I'm just gonna do like this. Of course, it's gonna reactivate a little bit of that blue, but look what happens. We get this really bright green. And I'm not mad at it. And then here's a little squishy. Look at that. Look. So we're just adding more. And if you want to go in and rub it a little bit, everybody likes a little rub now and then, you can do that. You can come over here and brighten up your yellow. Okay. So these are water soluble. So now I can go in with my brush. Let me just show you. I don't want to do too much because I really like it the way it is. But just wet a little bit. And I can thin it out. I can move it around. I'll show you on regular paper if you're not familiar. But you can kind of push it back more. You can still see it on there. But my brush is a little green now. Because yellow and blue will make green. This background's awesome. Okay. Not to toot my own horn. Okay, but you see, so we can like feather it out a little bit if you want. So if you want to use it on stencils, it's not like regular oil pastel that you can't move it. So this becomes, look at that, a great background that we can rip apart now and use on a canvas, on an art journal page, on an ATC card. But let me show you very quickly. So I use these a lot in my art, in my mixed media art. If I do that, let me get a clean brush, get off most of the water. You don't want it to be too excessively wet. You can, I mean, that's up to you, but watch what happens. Look at that. That's water soluble oil pastel. These are made by Crayola, I believe. Look at that. So when you get here's the thing, here's the rub of it. You get a water soluble oil pastel, which turns into like a watercolor substance, or you can have an oil pastel. Do you see what I'm saying? And look, they go over each other. And it blends in. My favorite way to use this, and this, I mean, this is obviously texture right here. My favorite way to use this is, there's two different ways. Let's get a different color so you can see, you know, just some of the quality of the colors. Let's do a blue. I think, is this blue? Violet, purple. But I mean, look at this. It's beautiful, right? One of my favorite ways to use this is you can, let's say we're going to color, I don't know what that is, maybe a tree. I don't know. I like to take a baby wipe. It's damp. And if you don't, so you see, you get this texture. My baby wipe's not as wet as I want it because it's been sitting here. But I can get this all around, but you still, see, this is what I love because I do mixed media. You could see the purple going around, but I want this texture because I want the leaves. I don't know why these are leaves. Hair, whatever you want it to be. Do brown and do it hair. But it leaves, get it? Tree, leaves. You get my point. Okay, and then you got this great texture. But it doesn't have to stop there. We could take a brush. We could take some water, wet our brush, pat it off a minute, go in like this. Watch these. Watch this. I'm just wetting it. Now look, I'm getting, which I probably would do on my background. I need a little bit wet. Or you paint from it. Look at that. And then you're not getting it, you're not getting the marks. Because not everybody likes the marks. I do when I'm doing mixed media, but if I'm painting, I don't, if that makes sense. So I'll go in a little wetter brush. We'll do some splashes. Oh, she's splashing. Okay. And look. And this is wet, so I can go and lay a little bit of that down to add a little bit more color. And the reason it goes into your paper, obviously, I mean, you can buy a ground to put down, like gesso, for instance, but the oil, obviously, is going to go in there. Do you know what I mean? It's going to soak into whatever you are using it on. That's why when you draw with it, it's a little harder. I could sit and play with these all day, but if I wet that, let's try another color. Let's try, let's do this blue. I see this is blue. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous blue. Look at that. Blue who? Blue you. Mixing in, giving us a beautiful, see how you can mix the colors? So, oh, it's just delightful. These are delightful. And you can use them in your mixed media for so many things. You can draw, you can add texture, you could paint. So yeah, so I'm done playing there because like I said, I'll sit and play all day. I don't want to work. I just want to bang on me drums all day. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, so that's that. Here she is. I hope this was helpful. I know it was a bit long, but I am long. I'm long-winded and I just love life. So no, I love doing mixed media. It's my favorite thing. It's what I love to do. I love doing these backgrounds. And like I said, I am not, you know, what I would do now is let this dry. I would take either my Mod Podge matte over it very quickly, or I would take my Mod Podge Ultra, which is a spray. You can use a fixative as well. I would put it over this after this is completely dry, let that dry, and then I work on top. So if you would like to see me work on top of this and what I do, let me know down below. And I'll show you what I do and how I do it and all the things. But right now, backgrounds, and we have this paper. We have, where'd they go? Come here. Come here. Look, I got all these papers started. So now I'll just take a light color like yellow or a light orange and go over the white. And on here, I'll probably do a pink. And then I'll have these papers to rip up and use in whatever I want. So very excited. I had a blast. I hope you did too. Please, please, please let me know how you're doing. And let me know what you guys thought of this and share me everywhere. I appreciate it greatly. Anything else you want to see, just ask. This is for my girl in my All Things Creative group to kind of show you, you know, just some ideas around the house that you can do. And all the information for all these supplies is down below. I love you guys. Be kind to each other. You never know about somebody else is fighting. Stay safe, you guys, and I will see you. Also, all my members, go check out, I sent you guys a message on the YouTube thing where the memberships are to find out the best time for everybody for the live stream. So if you could go do that, I would appreciate it. And that's it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.